Now to a matter of mystery, featuring Harper Lee, the author born 93 years ago today. We know her for her published novels, To Kill a Mockingbird and Go Set a Watchman. But could she have been working on another book? Rita Braver has done some digging.
After more than 4 decades, the mysteries remain. Shrouded in the fog that rolls in over Lake Martin and the woods that surround Alexander City, Alabama.
The original mystery is a series of suspicious and unexplained deaths.
But writer Casey Cep says that the other mystery is equally riveting. What happened when Alabama's most famous author, Pulitzer Prize-winning Harper Lee of To Kill a Mockingbird fame, came here to work on a true crime book about those deaths?
She does a tremendous amount of reporting and research, and the mystery is, did she write a book or not? And if she did, where is it?
So let us begin with the tale that brought Lee here. It centers on Reverend Willie Maxwell, an ordained Baptist minister who also worked in the local logging industry.
He's incredibly capable of quoting scripture and struck people as overly polite.
Then one night along a country road, 1970, his first wife, Mary Lou, is found dead in her 1968 Ford Fairlane.
She was found both to have been bludgeoned and strangled. You know, it was staged as a car accident, but there was never any thought that she had died from the car accident.
The Reverend was charged in her death, but as Cep details in her new book, Furious Hours, his 1971 trial in the local courthouse ended in acquittal.
What happened was the state star witness changed her testimony.
The Reverend would later marry that witness, but before long, she too ended up dead on the side of a road, as did his brother and a nephew. Despite intense investigation, authorities could never conclusively link those deaths to the Reverend. But locals like Robert Burns had their own ideas.
He believed in killing.
Man.
People said he was a psychopath, and he was.
And people really thought he was a practitioner of voodoo, huh?
Yes, yes.
Voodoo or not, it turns out that Reverend Maxwell had insurance policies on every single relative who died, totaling at least $500,000 in today's dollars. And when the insurance companies grew suspicious, he called the same lawyer who got him off on charges of killing his first wife.
A lot of people around here knew that if you were looking for someone to defend you and defend you well, you went to see Tom Radney.
Ellen Price and Madeline Kirby, Radney's daughter and granddaughter, say he was just doing his job.
There was no proof up until then that it was a murder or that there was anything wrong.
But then in June of 1977, another death. Shirley Ann Ellington, the adopted teenage daughter of the Reverend's third wife, was found again along the side of a road.
It was made to look as if she was changing a tire and that the car had fallen on her, but in fact she had been strangled before she was put under the car.
The whole community mourned, including Robert Burns, who says Shirley Ann was like a niece to him.
I loved her and she loved me.
As 300 people gathered for her funeral, the Reverend was immediately suspected of the murder by the police and by Burns.
If he came to that funeral, I had intentions of doing what I did.
And you did what?
I shot him.
And you killed him?
Yeah.
And when Robert Burns needed a lawyer, who should step up to defend him but Tom Radney, the Reverend's longtime attorney? The story became a national sensation, and it attracted a distinguished visitor who quietly slipped into town, Harper Lee, who had not published a book for 17 years.
It's an auspicious moment in her life, and she's had a lot of years of failure that she's trying to turn around.
But Lee has assisted her childhood friend, Truman Capote, in researching his true crime novel,
Thank you.
In Cold Blood, as depicted in the film Capote.
Truman. I'm gonna find out where that girl lives. Can I do that alone?
Lee decides she's going to try her hand at crime writing, showing up at the 2-day trial where attorney Tom Radney actually gets Robert Burns off on a temporary insanity defense. Lee starts interviewing scores of locals. Radney becomes one of her top sources, and so does Burns.
She told me she rented a place in Attic City to stay in until she gathered all the information that she needed to write this book.
Harper Lee spends years working on the book, but she never publishes anything, much to her despair, as Casey Cep learned when she uncovered this letter.
She's thanking him for his loving offer of counsel.
It's written to Gregory Peck, who became Lee's dear friend when he played Atticus Finch in the film of To Kill a Mockingbird.
She then tells him that her agent wants pure gore and autopsies, my publisher wants another bestseller, and I want a clear conscience and that I haven't defrauded the reader.
But Cep found Lee was also haunted by her own demons.
And that is everything from depression to abuse of alcohol, and those kinds of frustrations seem to manifest themselves more and more.
Harper Lee died in 2016. By then, attorney Tom Radney had passed away too. But as his family started going through his files, a startling discovery: what appears to be the first chapter of Lee's book.
It is numbered at the top, 4 pages stapled together, titled The Reverend.
It starts with a lawyer Lee called Jonathan Larkin getting a phone call in the middle of the night.
This is Reverend Maxwell, and the police are here at my house accusing me of killing my wife. Will you come down and help me?
But whether the rest of the book exists is still unknown, as Harper Lee's papers remain under seal.
Mysteries on mysteries. God bless Harper Lee. They didn't end when she died.
And like the story of the Reverend himself, who ironically is buried next to 2 of his suspected victims, those mysteries still haunt the shores of Lake Martin, Alabama.